I'm sorry to take that time of yours. Just to get started soon, because we're already a bit late, I'll just introduce myself and about what program I'm part of. Myself, Saurabh Shetty. I have been associated with F3 startups like Metacrafters, Alchemy, and I'm also I'm director for TPG Karnataka, which is a developer community based in Karnataka. And just to give a gist about it, I recently me and my team won a MENA Navigator hackathon, and that's the reason I myself am very excited to host this hackathons 101 by the OGs. I would say Asim and Parth themselves, who are pretty good at hackathons. And yeah, so that's and to give what so basically thanks to AngelHack and Web Enthusiast Club in ITK, they've been pretty kind enough to help us host this webinar, which is basically, as you can get from the name of the thing, is it's about Hackathons 101, right? So anything and everything about hackathons, we will be discussing, and Asim and Parth themselves will be guiding you through the experience and expertise. So without wasting much time, I would like to give it over to Asim and Parth, and yeah, let's start.
Thanks everyone for coming, and just give me a heads up if you can see my screen and hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can see a screen.
Okay, cool. So as you would have seen, the agenda and topic of today is Hackathon 101. We love hackathons, and we are here to talk about, um, you know, what they are, the different types of them, where you can find them. Importantly, why should you even care about them? And I think the third topic is what a lot of people are here for. Um, Once you've understood what they are, why they are, um, you would obviously want to know how you can ace them, and we'll share a lot of tips and tricks for that. And lastly, uh, we will talk about the steps forward and vision after that. But before we dive in, just to give a little quick introduction about the two of us. Um, I'm Parth. I'm in final year of college at NIT. Um, so Sim
Parth,
and
just
I,
sorry to interrupt. Someone just commented that your voice is a bit low. If you can just, come closer to the mic.
right, is this better? Yep.
Yeah,
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 much better.
yeah, much better.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Pardon me if my voice is not that great as well because uh, I'm not that well, but okay. Um, so yeah, Sim and I were winners at ETH India 2022, which is the world's largest Ethereum hackathon. Along with that, um, my team and I were second runners up at the Polkadot Hackathon Europe edition in the Ink Smart Contract category. So we actually had a chance to go to Paris, but due to some reasons, visa could not happen and we couldn't make it. But nevertheless, that was fun. Um, then a couple of other AI hackathons and uh, many of them. So far I participated in about I think 13, 14 of them and won about 8 of them. So yeah, I think I'll let Asim introduce.
But are you on the second screen? Because it's the only the first screen is visible.
Uh,
Oh
can
yeah,
you see?
that's perfect. Fine.
Oh,
Yeah, that's perfect. Fine. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, my name is Asim Jawahir. So basically, I've won past in tons of hackathons, eaten the XG hackathon, then won a lot. I mean, I would say my proudest achievement is definitely winning, eating the 2022 along with the wonderful Mr. Path over here, uh, and and I'm also an upcoming SDE at current base. Uh,
awesome. So that's the quick introduction. Then we'll talk about what hackathons are. So these are generally hosted by companies or organizations, and it's basically like a competition where you're supposed to build a project in a short given period of time. Um, and there's lots of uh, like-minded people there. You can meet a lot of people. You can build along with them. There's a lot of team building activities. There's a ton of good food. There is a lot of coffee. There's a lot of swags and prizes that we'll come to. But the idea is basically that you're supposed to build a cool project in a short span of time. Could be 24 hours, could be 48 hours, could be 36 hours. Um, And yeah, you get to collaborate with your teammates. It could be a singular one, it could be a team one, but most likely they are team based. And you often sit at stretch for like 24 hours, 36 hours without any sleep, right? So and it's not just about computer programmers. You would also come across people from different fields. So it could be designers, it could be product managers, it could be different people who basically come together to create a solution to an existing problem using tech. And yeah, next we can talk about the types. So this is a small diagram which basically describes or divides hackathons on basis of several categories. So the first thing is mode. It could be virtual or in person, and nowadays they're also hybrid. So, for instance, ETH India was totally in person. You were not allowed to participate from your home. Um, Virtual or hybrid, for instance, could be something like um, I think Silicon Maze that Web Club does is hybrid. Virtual, so we did something known as ETH for All. ETH for All was again by Devfolio and ETH Global, and but that was virtual. Virtual ones are generally longer. You probably have like a week or two to build the project. The second is based on the rounds. So you could have a single round or multiple rounds. Single round is something like ETH for All, where there is no selection criteria. Anybody and anyone can participate from across the world. Um, and multiple rounds is something like ETH India, wherein you need to first get shortlisted. So for ETH India, it was we had to submit a profile, and based on our previous work, they shortlisted 2,000 people. Because when it's in person, you really cannot allow a lot of people to come. You have to have limited people so that you can arrange everything well for them. Um, a lot of times it's more than one round also. I have seen hackathons like the Manipal hackathon that we participated. That was probably our first team hackathon. Uh, that we had like 2 3 rounds of qualification. You need to submit a presentation, what you're going to build, etc., the information about your team. And then out of that, so I think there were around 600 teams who had applied, and the top 25 qualified. Similarly, in ETH India, there were 20,000 plus applications from across the globe, but finally 2,000 people were allowed to hack. So that's about rounds. Third is duration. As I mentioned previously, it could be 24 hours, 36 hours, or 48 hours. Offline ones are generally anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. ETH India was, for instance, 48 hours. Um, or if it's online, then it'll be for weeks long. A lot of companies also do hackathons for hiring, etc., and those are generally anywhere from 1 week to like maybe even 2 months. So you could find that. Um, I'll show you where you can find these opportunities. Next is theme. So for instance, ETH India is based on Ethereum, so you can only build projects around the Ethereum ecosystem. Some of them are open. A lot of the Indian college hackathons are open theme. Um, so that's about it. Or you could also have different tracks. So tracks could be based on technology. So it could be machine learning, dev, AI/ML, Web3, security, or IoT for that matter. And there are also a lot of sponsor tracks. So companies, you know, a lot of cool companies have built out new projects and they would want you to test it out. Or and for the same they give you bounties, right? So if you build a really cool project which includes their product, um, they will basically give you prizes, etc. So there are a bunch of sponsor tracks as well. Now that we've spoken about the different types, the obvious question that would come is, where you can find these opportunities. So these are some of the platforms that are listed here. There are more. So number one is Devfolio. Devfolio is uh, it's an Indian company that's building or does a lot of hackathons in India and even abroad for that matter. ETH India, for instance, is done by them in collaboration with ETH Global. So you can head over to devfolio.co and you can find out these. Um, AngelHack that we're here for. AngelHack also has a lot of opportunities. Like the Polkadot hackathon that I spoke about was with AngelHack. So you can head over to angelhack.com and you can find that. ETH Global does a lot of events across the globe. ETH India, ETH Libsyn, ETH New York. So there's a calendar they release every year and you can find those opportunities. Um, Next is DevPost. DevPost is very large. but mostly confined to the foreign ecosystem. So you would find a lot of opportunities that are restricted to outside India, but also a lot of online ones. So I think Asim has done quite a few on DevPost. I have also done, I cannot remember the exact names, but yes, we did a lot of them on DevPost as well. Major League Hacking is a big name. MLH does fellowships, hackathons. I mean, the name itself has Major League Hacking, but again, these are again more foreign centric. Unstop is a general platform. It's not just for hackathons. It's for any kind of competitions in India. You probably would have seen them on Shark Tank, and they're open for any kind of competition, not just hackathons. But a lot of college hackathons you'll find on Unstop because of the publicity you get. Uh, Same with Devfolio. And the last is Hacker Earth. Hacker Earth is more for company challenges, etc. Xiaomi hires to Hacker Earth. HP I've seen, and a bunch of other companies. They're longer. They're for a more mature audience, so to say. And some other that are not mentioned here, you could find some of them on Twitter, right? People just talk about them on Twitter. Or there's a newer brand called Hack to Skill, which also does a lot of hackathons in collaboration with the government, etc. So like the Karnataka police or the Uttarakhand police or ONDC for that matter, right? So all of these hackathons are done by Hack to Skill. We had also participated in one of them. Um, so Hack to Skill is another platform. There's another platform called Dora Hacks. Dora Hacks is just for Web3. Again, a slightly newer one, but again, more focused on Web3. All right, so I think I spoke about most of them. And then if you are part of Web Club or if you are part of any other community, you will probably find people sharing different hackathons which might not be on any of these platforms. So you can keep an eye on them as well. Now I'll give it to Asim and then he can take
Okay,
forward.
so now we start. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Parth, for the wonderful introduction. So yeah, why should we participate? You might be asking, hey Asim, hey Parth, hey Saurabh, why should we participate in hackathon? Why does it help us? So, wait 1 second. Let me. I'll pass before this next slide. Uh, okay, so well, I mean, so what do you get? The most important thing is we'll get a lot of new skills. So just like everyone, we learn by doing. By taking part in hackathons, we accumulate lots of practical knowledge. For example, in my first hackathon, I almost knew nothing about full stack development. I didn't know what Tailwind was, and I was forced to learn a lot of these technologies, and I was able to learn them at a really fast pace. And we did end up coming like top 10 in that competition too. Uh, we learn a bunch of technical and non-technical skills. As you said, like there'll be lots of sponsors and sponsor prizes. So you'll be tackling those sponsor prizes. You'll be learning a bunch of new things such as working with new blockchains, different working with different tools, GraphQL, programming language, and a bunch more things. And the most important things I would say is you have a bunch of non-technical skills. You learn a bunch of non-technical skills that include learning how to cooperate with a team, leading a team, knowing how to split the work efficiently. Because those are one of the few things that only come by practice, and no matter only come by practice. And this is pretty much quite evident in a hack. I mean, in a hackathon, because you do have to collaborate with a bunch of people. And one of the cool features about hackathons is, particularly the big hackathons, most hackathons of any medium or bigger size, have tons of workshops. So there'll be different sponsors teaching about the new technologies, their recent breakthroughs, or even the basics of that ecosystem, uh, which will also help you learn tons. On top of workshops, there'll be also one-to-one mentoring sessions where you can actually ask people with 5 to 10 years of experience in the industries for like commenting on a project. Like, how am I doing this project? Do you see this thing as some potential? Do you see this thing do you see where I could improve on this thing? So you'll be able to get some knowledge from someone way beyond your expertise. Again, learning to work under pressure, like there has been so many times where we had to commit around one less than a minute before the deadline. We tried really hard, but in the end, it always comes down to the wire. Some annoying bug is always there. So you'll always learn to work under pressure. And most importantly, like I said, non-technical skills, you learn how to work in a team. Because if you learn how to work in a team, I mean, hackathon is a team effort most of the time. If you work efficiently as a team, you will definitely do well. Next slide. Parth, can you switch to the next slide?
Yep, it's on the
Yes.
next slide.
Next is networking. Again, you can find really smart people. You can find people as smart as Parth and Saurabh also over here. You can find your potential co-founders, investors, and you can get that social media blink. So yeah, you get a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, especially in regards to co-founders and investors, it's a pretty hackathons actually play a huge role. So those who are in India, Bangalore might have heard of Nammayatri. I might be butchering the name. I might be butchering the name, but that actually started as a hackathon. A bunch of other huge blockchain companies also came from hackathons. One I can think of at the top of my mind is 1inch. 1inch is not really a massive massive entity in the blockchain space. Currently, it is its function is a DEX aggregator. If you want, you can look more into it, but I should not go in depth. But yes, if you want to if you want to have a startup, or if you want to make a company, meet some founders, I highly recommend hackathons because you do learn a lot and you will gain a lot of skills. I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of you people over here founding startups. So yeah, could you go to the next page? Yeah, over here you can see awesome pictures from East India. On the left is the founder of Polygon, Sandeep Naiwal. Again, I might be butchering his name. And the right is the founder of is what the CEO of ETH Global. Both are awesome people to meet. I mean, you get to meet such huge celebrities that just like an arms. Who are really close to you. Okay, next slide, please. And the best part is free swags. You get free stickers, t-shirts, badges, hoodies, bottles, mouse pads. What is better than free swag? Like the swags they give are really high quality too. So I have like swag that like more than a year old, still in my wardrobe, and I wear them almost daily. The bottles are really good. Again, high quality swag. So if you're looking to equip your wardrobe with some cool clothes, hack that also way to go. You can see over here the left that's the amount of swags we got. We got like 8, 9, 10, 11 t-shirts, a bag, a bottle. This time we got a pillowcase. Like what's it called? A neck pillow and a mouse pad and a bunch of awesome stickers as well. Next slide, please. Parth, could you go to the next slide?
Yeah, just to add here, so ETH India, like the ETH India 2022 for that matter, just to share like a little story here. If you see the picture on the left, that's just one person's swag. It's not combined. We walked home with like 11 t-shirts each, and then the bunch of things that Asim said. So the story was basically that there'll be these sponsor stalls uh, at the venue, and you can just go to them and ask for swags, right? That was as simple as that. And one of our teammates actually got the same hoodie from Polygon 3 times. So you can do all of this stuff. And so far, I think we would have collected, I don't know, 15, 16. There was a T-shirt given when we went to Manipal Hackathon. When we won Polygon's best public good at East India, I think there was a full swag kit they gave. Not all of us got, but yes, that
Yeah.
happened. There were um, so bunch of stickers we've already collected. So like each time you participate in a DevFolio hackathon, you'll end up with a DevFolio sticker. So probably by now I have 4, 5 the same stickers, right? So cumulative, I think Asim, me, and all of us, we would probably have like I don't know 40, 50 t-shirts. But yeah, so that is that. That's possibly obviously one of the big benefits.
Yes, I mean, you don't need to buy clothes when you go to hackathons. That is my number one tip.
That's nicely said.
Oh yeah, and again, with the path that everyone's waiting for, you do make really good. I mean, you do make like lots of prizes depending upon how big the hackathon is. You do win huge prizes. So I mean, like in for example, in ETH Global, the finalist each member got 500 USD each. So if you had a team of 5 members, that's like 2,500. Sometimes the sponsor prizes go up to 8,000, even 10,000, and even the winning prizes can go up to 15,000. So again, there is no limit to how much you actually can win. So if you guys are into the monetary benefits, easily a hackathon. I mean, this is usually limited to crypto hackathons, by the way, because they do want to get more activity on their blockchain. I mean, on their chain, their technology. So they do offer such incentives. But other hackathons, like hackathons that are organized by MLH or some AI hackathons, they usually have some small prizes, such as you get a Switch or a really awesome keyboard or a pretty big Amazon gift card, which a couple of my friends have. Our friends have won. And another huge thing is internship and placement opportunities. You want to get placed at Flipkart, just do well in the hackathon. Even Amazon used to do hackathons, but again, I'm not sure which all companies do. But yeah, hackathons are one of the ways in which other companies do hire for you. And and one more thing is again the social recognition for the project. You do gain depending upon how big the how big your competition is. Lots of people do get to know get to know about you, your project. You get more investors on your projects and things. On your project, and you at the same. Yeah, and you
I
do
think
grow
our
in
projects are
confidence.
still on our resume. Like the same projects that we built are still on our resume. And just for instance, at ETH India, there was a total of $350,000 of prizes, um, which includes the winner prizes, the sponsor prizes, the pool prizes, something that we did not mention. So even if you just integrate a product, so there's this company called Push Protocol, right? If you just use their product, you are eligible to win a prize. So even if you don't get selected for anything, you will still walk away with something, right? That same, so let's say $8,000 is a pool prize that will be shared among all the participants who actually use their technology, right? You can actually head over to ETH India slash prizes or ETH Global slash ETH India slash prizes, some one of those links, and you can browse through how fat the prize money is, how different, um, like how many opportunities you have to actually get a prize. Uh, Not just winners, but sponsors and different tracks have prizes. Each sponsor will give you two, three, four different types of prizes, right?
Yeah.
This is apart from swag, yeah.
And also,
Yeah, and especially.
sorry to interrupt. Like one important thing is I've seen personally also, like in front of me, is basically a lot of they said internship. Like I've seen people uh, just in college and they're working for Web3 startups. So I've seen it mostly in Web3 and globally, like for few startups from US, Europe, and India itself. So that kind of thing, I think previously is not that was not available, but now because of hackathons and these things, because companies also look out for good talent, right? And I think the hackathon is like an amalgamation of both the blockchains and companies looking for good talent and also good talent looking for good opportunities. So whoever Asim and Path are good examples of it. First of all, you get to put these opportunities in, like whatever you crack in your resume. At the same time, you are exposed to great opportunities, and I think that's a very good advantage in hackathons.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Pat said, there's actually no limit to like how big the prize pool can be. I believe for Solana Grizzlython, it was like around 1 mil to $2 million. Exact,
Yeah, I
yes,
think
a
the
million
first
dollars.
prize was $50,000. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like it's huge, huge. So if you think you're good devs, you can definitely back that money and get like huge investors in. So yeah, it's a huge potential. Again, there's us, speaking at the conference. You can see me at the left, looking how did I get here, and then everyone on the stage on the Manipur Hackathon and the East India.
So the left pictures from ETH India. So the top 12 people basically present, and we were presenting in front of 2,000 people, I think. So that's one really nice picture. The right side, as the same side, is from the Manipal Hackathon. We were top 10, and that's the prize from there. This is another picture that you probably would have seen. This is ETH India's cover page or cover image. So this is from 2022, and it's all the winners at ETH India, the top 12 basically. This is a really nice picture. Asim, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, again, lots of media attention. We did come in lots of newspapers. Yeah, we got came in lots of newspapers, like a bunch of both Kannada newspapers and English newspapers that had a small section of it. So this is what we meant by social recognition, and you can see for it the global, it had around like 15,000 impressions. But yeah, overall, I mean, you do gain quite a lot of social recognition for big hackathon. And the most important thing, just have fun, because you do learn. It's quite fun, to be honest. I mean, mine is the last minute comments. It's You do learn how to build cool projects. You have fun. You talk to your friends, try to fit in as much snacks as possible. Try to get as many swags as possible. It's overall pretty awesome. I mean, especially when with your teammates that you enjoy to be around. It's overall really nice. Uh, Yeah, and you can see lots of photographic thing. I mean, places. You can take photographs of if you are a photographer. But yeah, the venues are also super awesome. You can see the hacker badges, the when you eat in their designs. Yeah, and I will now pass it on to Mr. Parth.
All right. So now that we've talked enough good about uh, why should you participate, what they are, you can get a ton of swags, prizes, opportunities, etc. It's important to talk about how you can actually win this, right? So number one is deciding what you want to build, right? So I think this is like the most common question which is common, which a lot of people ask me is that uh, what do you build? And it's very crucial as it forms the foundation of the majority of the time you spend at the hackathon. So number one is research. Do lots and lots of research. Look for problems um, rather than finding both problems and solutions, right? So what I mean is that it's easier to find a solution to an existing problem rather than finding both, right? You'll find a lot of existing problem statements. You could go on to any of these links that are provided. So SIH is Smart India Hackathon, which is done by the government. Um, and there are around 400, 500 problem statements every year. So you can look at that archive and get ideas. There is this link by the DeFi one is I think by Solana or Filecoin. You can have a look at those. FVM is again by Filecoin. Dev Bhumi Hackathon was one conducted by the Uttarakhand police, if I'm not wrong, and they had a bunch of problem statements which are really nice. I do remember them. Um, right. What else? So a lot of times problem statements are given by the organizer themselves, right? You could look at for that. So for instance, for ETH India, we did some research and we found a document prepared by the Niti Aayog, which is Planning Commission, I think, of India. And what that had was the blockchain strategy for India, and that had some 3 4 problems that were not solved anywhere in the world, and that's what we built upon for ChartSwap for the project that we built for ETH India, right? Um, Another way you could do it is look for past projects built at large hackathons for inspiration, right? And then look for what you could do tangentially, what you could do parallelly, or what is something they did not do but you could add, right? Um, and uh, that's it. Basically, these are two of the main methods that you can do. Um, some important things that you need to keep in mind when you're building is that uh, the X factor. Basically, uh, try to have some cutting edge technology in your project. It doesn't have to be something that is a product market fit already, but if it's a cool tech that qualifies as a good project. Second thing to consider is impact. If you're solving for a very, very niche case, it might not be as good. But finding a niche category is a nice thing. But if it doesn't impact a lot of users, then uh, you might not be building the right thing. Um, you need to justify why you're using a specific technology. So don't just stuff in all kinds of technologies for the sake of doing it. It's good to know and why you're using a specific technology. So the same thing happened in East India. There was a specific question by a Polygon judge as to why we're putting this on chain, and only when we could convince him, he was actually convinced that okay, you're not doing it for the sake of putting a technology here, and obviously solve a real problem. Uh, don't actually solve like a solution and then build a problem around it. Yeah. Next is the team. Asim, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. Go ahead. So again, oh yeah, once again, I'm back here. Yeah, again, team is like you said, is really important. Like having a good team is basically just getting 50% of the work done at the start. You have a good team, you'll be able to, you usually be able to breeze the hackathon much better if you didn't have a proper team that doesn't communicate well. The most important thing is find individuals that complement your skills. For example, if you're a front end developer, find a back end developer or a UI UX developers. So it's basically better to have different people of various skill sets. Like for our team, we definitely had like a blockchain developer, an IoT developer, front end, a full stack developer, and so on. Uh, trust their skills and potentials. Again, trust is a really important thing. Just believe in your team. I mean, they will definitely help you, make the best out of your projects. Again, you must clearly, another important thing is to clearly divide your work. I cannot stress how important this is. If you don't assign a work to a person, or if you don't properly split the work, it will just lead to a whole lot of chaos in the end with one person be overworked, one part of the project not working. So clear division of work is really important. And when you do have time, you got to spend a proper amount of time planning on who works on what and what on to work for. And another thing is like for short hackathons, such as the 24-hour to 48-hour hackathons, like Pat said, uh, you got to manage sleep timings. Yeah, I mean, there are times where, I mean, there might be some really, awesome programmers who's working like, 48 hours straight without no sleep, sipping on coffees. But, some people would need to like sleep 3 to 4 hours. So, yeah, do communicate that with your team and then, having a proper, a rotation of people who are sleeping. Uh, yeah. Uh, the next slide, please. Yeah, as you can see, here are the winners from the two of the big hackathons. You can see that's Rahul Pujari, Parth, Mr. Parth, Abhiraj, Ashish, me, Shashank, Pranav, and Mehul. So all of these are really smart people. My camera died. Huh. Well, all of these are really smart people. But again, each and every single one of them could be could replace both of us to take this.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I think the big reason why we won or whatever is obviously because of the team. And one thing is that, like for instance, at East India, we didn't know anything about IoT, and Asim was the only one who knew it, but we fully trusted him. Right, so that's the important thing, that you divide the work and you trust your team members. Right. Same thing at Manipal, just the two of them knew Flutter, and the rest of us did not, but we trusted them. Right. So find people who fit in different pieces of your puzzle.
Another important part is do some prep. Again, you must make a prep depending upon the rules of the competition. Some competitions do not allow preparation before of any low or high fidelity prototype. So do keep that in mind. Different competitions vary. Like ETH India does not allow uh, it does not allow this at all. So yeah, keep in mind for the different hackathons, but generally they do allow it. So, having an idea and a rough overview of all the tech stack you're going to use is fine. But again, none of the UI UX work. It should be, I mean, check the rules for clarifications. But yes, you need to know what technologies you're going to use, you need to have a bunch of resources that you can quickly refer to, and different tools that can speed up your workflow, such as, for example, there's a bunch of ML tools that actually help you design websites all at once. I think it's one of them is V0 by Vercel. So using some tools. I mean, such tools can also help speed up your coding process quite a bit. They also mentioned GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT are one of the few this thing, tools that you could use to boost your productivity. So anything that can help you save time is a huge plus in terms of yeah, it's a huge plus when you're working as a hackathon.
Also, like beforehand, know the tech stack that you'll be working with. Finalize these basic things. Don't spend time on that during the hack. Uh, have enough knowledge to build apps, at least the CRUD operations with whatever tech stack you're working with, so that you don't spend too much time figuring out even the basics. Um, you could pre-prep basic things that come in hand in most applications, stuff like authentication. Don't waste time on building that from scratch. Have that pre-done, but obviously follow rules of the competition as Asim said. Uh, if solve the most pressing problem beforehand. So if you know that this is a crucial thing of your, let's say you want to read about some API, have a little idea about it so that you don't waste your time in figuring out the most crucial part. Right? Let's say if you're using the Google Maps hack API, play around with it once. Don't just jump during the hack itself. Um, have a good command over Git and version control systems. But I remember we wasted like 2 3 hours on our first hackathon, wasted a lot of time on that. So have a little experience with Git. Um, also use best practices like good commit messages, branches, etc. I know you're participating in hackathon, so it's not you won't write the cleanest code, but Git actually that really helps. We have done really bad sometimes. We used to overwrite each other's commits, and that's not nice. You lose progress. We used to actually create more bugs just because we eliminated each other's code, right? Um, So that happened in Try an IT Hackathon. That has happened in the Manipal Hackathon. You can also try something known as the VS Code pair, right? So that's also handy. Two people can simultaneously write code in the same editor, on their laptop, etc. Prepare the Figma design if you can. So these are some links that we have added. Green Trust, Huntley, all of these are our projects. And preparing that, or you could just make it on paper. That's really helpful, so that you know what you're going to build. Um, it gives a lot of clarity on both the design as well as the functional requirements. You'll ask yourself a lot of questions during this design, and I'll clear a lot of questions for you. Um,
Oh yeah. To add to what Parth said about Git, learning Git is actually pretty important because some organizers do check your Git commit history. So if you have everything as one Git commit because you don't know how to use Git, they have a reason to disqualify you. So learning Git, like Parth said, is also pretty important.
and few things that you can have is you can go one step forward. You can prepare a little bit of your UI. Again, generally don't do it because it's against the rules. But probably having a design system or knowing some libraries like Meraki UI, etc., that let you get some components of the UI. That's helpful. You don't have to like you don't have to code every component from scratch. You can find pre-made components on Meraki, Flowbyte, and a bunch of other libraries. Um, so, and as Asim was saying, not just UI, you could do a lot of other things as well. You could keep the schema ready if you're doing a backend project, right? And also, it's nice to know where you'll deploy a project. It's not essential, but it's good to know. If it's just a front end project, you could use something like Vercel or um, GitHub pages for that matter, or Netlify.app. If it's a backend one, uh, you can use GCP or AWS or something. You get free credits as a student. So uh, GCP is quite like once you know how to do it, it's actually the best. Or any other cloud provider for that matter. And the fourth is documentation and presentation. Now imagine this that you've spent hours on building the school project and not slept at all, but you still don't know how to explain it. Right? This is nothing short of a disaster. Hackathons generally have a requirement of you presenting your solution at the end. It can be through a pitch deck or a live demo or a recorded video or just pictures, GitHub README, etc. So keep in mind that a good project will be overlooked if the presentation is bad. Okay, it's really important that you know how to present your project. You've done a lot of hard work on your project, so it's extremely crucial to know that document and present it really well. I've linked some of the previous presentations that we had made, Huntley round one, round two, and chart swap, and a lot of templates for you to just start off so that you don't waste time on Canva looking out for the right templates. Right. Uh, Small things that you can take care of is match the colors of your product with the deck, gives a nice impression. Sometimes the outline is provided by them itself, so keep that in mind. Um, Keep your README very structured. Again, there's a README template link there. And Huntley is this thing also. You can also build diagrams and charts. So we always build something known as a network diagram using some tool called draw.io. Looks really nice and gives you a good way to explain things. Uh, Provide all relevant links and information in the README itself or wherever you are submitting a project, let's say DevFolio or ETH Global or whatever. Fill all the information that is required by the submission website. And very, very importantly, do not keep this for the end. We have done this mistake time and again. We end up not making a really good video or not being able to present it. Um, so for Polkadot, we actually built a really good video. I remember that we edited it, etc., and voiceover, animations, etc. So start filling that 4 to 5 hours before at least. Uh, and once you have reached the stage where your product is at least functional on the basic thing, uh, you can make a basic video at least. Also, just to put in here, don't try to build something like everything. Just focus on your core product. Uh, if you're if you're building something that is uses the Google Maps API to tell cool places nearby, stick to that. Don't add a gallery feature or reviews, etc. As of now, it's a hackathon. You just have to build a POC. Just focus on the most important thing uh, instead of building everything and wasting time on that. Um, yeah, and obviously the key takeaway from here is that you inspire a lot of others to take part. Uh, you know, Try your hand and hopefully build this culture in your college, in from wherever you are, right? Uh, take all the benefits, have fun, most importantly. Build really good relationship with your team members, find co-founders, etc. And
I'll,
yeah,
I would just like to add here,
yeah,
Parth. See, honestly, what Parth and Asim have been doing back in WEC and in general, right? They're leading a movement in a way, right? They're helping, like today also, what it's their kind of initiative that we want to do it for our club and just help others and the younger batch to take the uh, flag ahead in a way, right? So I love what this slide where he says is creating a culture, right? And that is very important because ultimately, uh, be it the developers who and as well as the startups, right? They need someone to take the lead because you might be a great developer, you might be a good startup, but without a community, you are nothing. Especially in Web3, I've seen this in the past, the last year itself. I've seen just because the community keeps it alive, right? And what Asim and Parth especially are doing at WEC, I would love you guys to take ahead and also to give credit to AngelHack. They are doing something. Look, I'm part of the community building program, right? The first cohort which they had, right? And honestly, it's a great platform where they are kind of giving opportunities to be it undergrad students and people to just come on board and share in whatever small or big way possible, be it a workshop or be it a hackathon, right? So also, and just to add here is luckily 20, this is a new year and I had something to give you guys, and especially I want to give this to WC and ITK, right? Because Asim and Path are part of it and they're part of Bangalore where I am from, right? And I've just shared the basically the link. They're having the community builders program starting next month. you guys can apply right away. I would love people from WEC to take, to make use of this opportunity to uh, become get selected in the community builders program, because this is happening across not just India, it's happening across Indonesia, Vietnam, Nigeria, Malaysia, and Philippines. So it's honestly, it's a big deal, and it's a great opportunity, right? So you guys can start applying from now itself, and make use of this opportunity. And I would honestly, I know Asim and Parth will obviously guide, and I myself would love to guide and help you out in whatever possible. And I'm sure AngelHack team has been graceful enough to give us the platform. So yeah, just go for it. And yeah, looking forward to to keep the culture going. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you can check the link in the chat. That's for the referral. Sorry, that's the link to the uh, AngelHack Community Builders program. And for the last slide, I obviously don't want to leave you without the upcoming hackathons, etc., so that you don't complain that told me everything about it, but I don't know where to start from. So these are some hackathons that you can try your hand at, which are upcoming or probably will. I think one of them registration ends today itself, so do check them out. Build for Bharat is at Hack to Scale. Scale 91 is a fintech hackathon. Web 5 again on DevPost. Ideathon. So there's a lot of ideathons as well. You don't have to build the product, just the idea works. Um, Open Build Starknet is on DoraHack, as far as I remember. It's a Web3 hackathon. So you can check these out. And we obviously keep sharing a lot of them um, internally, but yeah, you can check these out, etc. Right? And towards the end, I could just leave it for questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat or just unmute yourselves and ask. Hope this was insightful and you'll participate in a lot more hackathons. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you all.
Guys, we'll just keep the next 5 minutes for some questions if you have. It would be great. Like, we are open to the questions, and you can adjust any query or something related to hackathon, or in general about programming also is good enough. Anything we just can just ask, or you can just type it in the chat. We'll wait it out. So in the meantime, I would like to honestly thank Parth and Seema. Honestly, Parth, because although he has been ill for for almost a week, we have been trying to organize this. He's been, instead of his ill health, he's been, coordinating with me and doing things. Honestly, I want to just appreciate that and say it out loud, as well as Asim. He's also traveling, but at the same time, they've removed the time, and he's ultimately, I see that they're doing it for their community, that is WEC. You can see the socials out here. And just a huge shout out to both of them for helping this to become what it is. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Saurabh. Thanks to you also for actually giving us the opportunity, and it is very kind in all of these things.
My pleasure. Thank you.
One question is, I'm a fresher and I have extremely minimal knowledge of coding. How should I proceed to build a base, and how should I enter the hackathon community? Asim, do you want to take this up?
Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead. Okay, so I mean, you have minimal knowledge of C and Python. That's more than enough. As long as especially Python, because Python is forms the basis of a lot of tech stacks. So you don't need to learn much because in a hackathon you learn on the go. I would say just grab a bunch of your friends or just register for a hackathon. Like go to devfolio.com, find a hackathon that's held by a university, and just register. Uh, Again, you don't need to know anything. You will always learn on the fly. You will always keep learning. Uh, yeah, and you'll always keep learning. There is, I mean, I mean, there is no minimum requirements to start. The just start whenever you want to, whenever you can, and whenever you have time. Uh, Grab a bunch of your friends, go, and you will learn quite a lot.
And I think another thing that you can do is building a base would obviously be about a little bit exploration in the beginning. So first try to find which field you would like to go towards. You could probably go, you know, um, towards dev or ML or Web3, etc. So initially just watch a lot of YouTube, etc. You don't have to buy courses. Just figure out, build some projects, learn by doing, um, and then see what you're good at and find people who are complementary to that. So you don't have to build everything. You don't have to know everything, right? If you're just good at front end, that's cool enough. Find somebody who's good at back end, and you're good to go as a team. Uh, any other field for that matter as well, right? Next question: what's your favorite combination for front end? Um, CSS plus what? Back end and Visual Basic. Okay, so this is a very specific question towards what you're building. For front end, especially, I personally or we generally use a lot of Tailwind. So we would not directly use CSS. We generally use Tailwind. But you're free to use whatever you'd like. I've worked with Bootstrap, Tailwind, etc., etc. And if it's a front end project, you'll mostly find yourself building in React or Next for that matter. Um, that is there. Backend again, very much dependent on what your team knows, what you're building for. So we have used the Django REST API framework in the past, DRF, or we've used um, I think or else you can use Node, etc. We've also used Flask in Python. We've also used just vanilla Django um, or Rails, Ruby on Rails, if you've heard of that. So there's no specific combination. This is good. Whatever your team is comfortable with, you can go ahead with that. Database. So if you have something like Django, it comes pre-built. SQLite comes with it. Or else nowadays a very cool solution is to use Firebase if you're into NoSQL or use Supabase. I don't know if you've heard of Supabase, but it's a cool product. Lets you fastly build your APIs. Saying talking about fast is another product called Fast API. Lets you quickly build projects. Um, you don't have to set up a lot of stuff. So Fast API, Supabase, these are some cool products you can check out. uh, Again, there's no specific combination which is like a de facto. Whatever your team is comfortable, that works. Could you explain what API actually is? API stands for Application Programming Interface. Uh, the best analogy I like to give is in a restaurant. You are the client who orders food. The kitchen is the server, but there's something missing, which is the waiter, right? The waiter is actually the API. It's the interaction or the communication between the client and the server. So the API is basically the waiter, and you could find a bunch of APIs that help you do start different types of tasks. So the Google Maps API, or you don't have to build Google Maps again. You can't. Google has already done the heavy lifting for you. Just use their API, right? Um, or it could be ML APIs. So I myself don't know a lot of ML, but I do utilize the ML APIs because someone has already built the logic and I can just use it, right? So I think that clears up. And you can obviously just Google this, find a bunch of things on YouTube, etc.
Yeah, I think that are the questions, and I think it's 7:30. I think it's the end time. Uh, Thank you everyone for coming, and especially I know it's a New Year week. Everyone's traveling, busy doing something. I know a lot of you guys are not back at college also, but it's good to see a lot of you have turned out for this webinar. It's kind of the start of the year, and I hope this kind of leads sets a roadmap for you guys to. 2024 pretty like I would say rocking. So hope to see you guys participating in hackathons and winning it, and would love to know that you have, so that at least what effort we have put, and especially AngelHack, Parth, Asim, me, WEC, the club from NITK, would love to hear back. And yeah, thank you once again. And yep, that's it from my side. Yeah.
Thanks
Parth,
everyone
Asim, you want to
for
add
coming.
something?
No, that I think rightly puts it. And do follow us on our socials. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Reach out to me, Asim, or Saurabh on our socials. You can continue the questions there as well. I'll love to answer that. And yeah, thanks again.
Yeah.